What's up, y'all? It's Ty. In this video today, we're going to be going over and ranking our best linebackers right now in college football ultimate team on a tier list from S tier to F tier. Now, one guy I'm not going to rank, and I'm going to talk about him right now is Isaiah Glasgow. Look, I don't know how good this card truly is going to be. This comment is basically another Basente. Now, for me, maybe, but he might be a little bit better. He is 6'5" at that linebacker position. And when you compare that to Basente, I mean, he's going to be better. Basente's only 6'1". So, I honestly, as I look more and more at this Isaiah Glasgow, I like him for a pass coverage outside linebacker. But if you are one where you're going to look to get after the quarterback, then Glasgow isn't going to be as good. But do want to mention that before we dive into the rest of these guys. And as we do that, if you are new to my channel and have not yet, make sure you guys do smash that subscribe button as we're on the road towards 10,000 subscribers. First guy here, Jaishan Barham. Look, I mean, he's fine. 84 speed, 86 acceleration, doesn't have great change of direction, decent block shed, decent in zone coverage. I feel like a lot of this card is just decent. But when we're comparing him as far as the best linebackers in the game, I don't love Barham. I just don't know what he does at that elite level. And if you're not going to be an elite linebacker in the game, to me, I'm going to have you at D tier and, not think twice about it. You're not one of my favorite linebackers in the entire game. Brian Bosworth is a card that I like much more, and we could spend a lot of time talking about it. But the main thing here that you guys need to realize is Bosworth's going to be faster, he's going to be better in coverage, has better block shed, just literally walks circles around Barham. Now, again, is a little bit taller as well, so if you do use him as a user, which I have before, he is going to be really solid at that. To me, Bosworth is a really solid middle linebacker in this game. Definitely a card that you can pick up for your squad and have a lot of success with. And Bosworth, you guys can see right now, 80,000 coins, not super expensive. Brian Thomas Jr. up next, left outside linebacker. I do believe he's a newer card that we have gotten in the game. 84 speed, 88 acceleration, really solid tackler. Really bad in coverage, good finesse move, gonna get after the quarterback, decent, bad change of direction. Block shed's not great either. I'm gonna put him at C tier. The card's not perfect, but I don't want to sit up here and say the card's bad. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. can absolutely play and compete for you. Again, I don't think he's like the best left outside linebacker in the entire game. I don't. But I don't want to sit up here and say that he can't play for you. Gonna get after the quarterback decently. Going to be really solid in coverage. Again, I'm probably never going to use the card, so it's hard for me to really sit up here and hype the card up a whole lot, but he is fine for you guys to run if you do want to run him, the left outside linebacker position. I do, however, think Jack Campbell is just as good, if not better, and we'll talk about it. But when you're looking at Jack Campbell, he's got 84 speed, 85 acceleration, gonna get after the quarterback. He's 6'5", can play decent coverage as well. I don't think he's one of your best outside linebackers, but I think he's just as good as Brian Thomas Jr. And so that's the tough part, is there's really no separating these two cards. I do think they're pretty similar, have the same speed. One's gonna get after the quarterback a little better in Brian Thomas, one's gonna play a little better coverage in Jack Campbell. To me, both C tier. I do think Abdul Carter is a little bit better than both these cards. However, I want you guys to know and realize Carter is not flawless. Let's talk about it. Only 84 speed, really good block shed, really good getting after the quarterback. The one thing he is not going to do, though, is play coverage. He's going to be horrible in coverage, has bad change of direction. So again, Abdul Carter is not totally flawless. Do I think he's better than Brian Thomas Jr.? I don't know. As I'm looking at the cards, maybe not. I'm going to actually move him down to C tier, because when I'm looking and comparing the cards, I don't see how I can put Abdul Carter in A tier above. Clay Matthews, S tier. Is he worth the coins? Honestly, I don't hate him for his value right now. Now, I'm not saying he's worth 373,000 coins, but he's going to get after the quarterback. He can play coverage, perfect tackler. There is no flaws in Clay Matthews whatsoever. This card is one of your best outside linebackers in the entire game. Great speed, great acceleration. There's literally no flaws. This card is that man in the game. Again, I don't even hate him for the 373 price. Do I have him on my squad? No. But I'm telling you right now, Clay Matthews is an absolute beast in this game. I've got him all the way up at S tier. Mason Cobb up next. I feel like when I've looked at Mason Cobb in the past, he's been a pretty mediocre linebacker. To me, obviously can't get after the quarterback. His block shed's not good. Decent in zone coverage. Decent as far as a user. I don't love the card, though. I'm going to go C tier. Do think he's better than Barham, but barely. Debo Williams up next. Let's see what Debo Williams gets into. Again, when I looked at the card first, nothing really stood out to me, but he does have great block shed. Going to be a perfect run stopper for your specific squad. And as time goes on in this game, I feel like I get beat by the run game more and more. So maybe, I guess, for that part of the card, he is somewhat useful. But, I mean, he's not a great user. He's not going to be super fast, not great in zone coverage. So that's where I'm like, I'm going to throw him at C tier. And C tier is kind of my safe space right now. To be honest, Debo probably is closer to B tier. It's just tough because I do like Brian Bosworth more than Debo Williams. Sean Dolak up next, A tier. He's not quite Clay Matthews good, but no, Dolak is an absolute beast and my favorite middle linebacker in the game. 88 speed, 89 acceleration, really good tackler, solid in coverage. Block shed's not necessarily great, but 79, it's still usable, right? It's not necessarily game-breaking bad. And that's my thing for Sean Dolak is he is going to just be one of your better all-around middle linebackers in the entire game. And for me, I've got to respect that at least a decent amount. Great speed, great user, good acceleration, good in zone coverage. I like Sean Dolak. When I use Sean Dolak, he did extremely well on my field. So for me, right now, 130,000 coins. Gonna go down if the Field Phenoms at the time I'm recording this is still delayed. If that set ever comes out, who knows? Maybe Sean Dolak will go down in price. Let's hope so, because I would love to pick him right back up for my specific squad. Next up, Makai Gabayer, and I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm not exactly sure. When this card first came out, I didn't necessarily know about him. You know, he does get after the quarterback, really not great in coverage. But the more I look at this card, the more I'm like, you know what? He's not bad in coverage. 77 zone. It's honestly usable. Not necessarily great, but I do think it is usable. It's not horrible. With that being said, good tackler, good hit power, good pursuit, really good power move. I mean, this card is not bad at all. And again, the more I look at this card, the more I'm like, you know what? This card can play at a decently high level. Is he my favorite outside linebacker in the entire game? No. Clay Matthews will absolutely walk circles around this card. But I do think this card is good enough to put him in that A tier. Tyler Grubbs up next. Somebody told me in my last video that Tyler Grubbs is a card that I was super under ranking. So let's take a look at Tyler Grubbs here. Good change of direction, solid speed acceleration, solid tackler, good block shed, good power move, solid in zone coverage. You know what? For everybody out there, guys, I owe Tyler Grubbs an apology. I do. This card is pretty solid. Now, with that being said, would maybe like to see the speed a little bit higher. But this card is really, really good. It's rare to find a card with really good block shed, as was the rest of the things that this card does indeed do for you guys on the field. So Tyler Grubbs, I owe you an apology, and you're close to A tier. I'm not going to put you at A tier. I would like to see the speed a little bit higher, but you're close to A tier. Harold Perkins, you're going to go at least B tier for me. And why is Harold Perkins going B tier? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. He's got 87 speed, 87 acceleration, good change of direction, solid enough in coverage, not great. The one thing that is an area of concern, the 71 block shed, that is not an area of strength for this card, and it is definitely something that needs to be highlighted, needs to be talked about. It is super concerning for Perkins. With that being said, I think the other stuff that this card does still has a spot on the field. So that's kind of my opinion on Perkins. Obviously, card isn't flawless, right? He does have some flaws, but I think the pros outweigh the cons when it comes down to Harold Perkins Jr., who I still to this day run on my squad. B tier. Jalen McLeod, I think got this card, and I got him a BND version of this card because he was one of my bad pulls from the BND packs. Like, what is this guy's purpose on the field? I know he's got solid change of direction, decent speed, decent acceleration, solid finesse. I mean, maybe, just maybe I need to give this guy another try. But he's 6'1". He doesn't do anything insanely well. He gets after the quarterback pretty well. I'd say that. Block shed's okay. Decent in zone coverage. I don't know. Maybe I need to give him another try, but that 84 speed is just kind of a turnoff for me. I see the 84 speed. I don't even know if I give the card a real chance. I'll go C tier. He's not totally worthless. Chandler Martin up next. I don't know why. This card's just not in my lineup, but I think this card has a ton of potential, even if EA does decide to give him a speed upgrade. Problem with him is his speed's not great, his change of direction's not great, and he can't play coverage. So, those couple of stats definitely do matter. Yes, he's going to get after the quarterback decently, but that change of direction is just crazy. 6 feet tall as well. I'm going to go D tier for Chandler Martin. I am not a fan of that card. Michael Williams up next. I actually picked this card up because when this card first came out, I'm like, this card's an absolute beast. And I use this card. And for whatever reason, I just didn't have that much success with him. 84 speed, 88 acceleration, 74 change of directions, pretty yikes. Coverage-wise, pretty yikes. Look, he's going to get after the quarterback and play the run well. So if he's on a blitz, you're probably in pretty good shape. If Michael Williams is in coverage, you are going to have some flaws, and he's, not going to be great there. So know what you're getting out of the card. 6'5" isn't bad either. I'm going to put him at B tier because I like what he does. He is, you know what you're getting out of the card. He's going to be great at stopping the run and definitely getting after the quarterback. But if you put Williams in coverage, he is going to be a liability on the field. Colin Oliver is still one of my favorite outside linebackers in the entire game. And the more I look at Colin Oliver, the more I fall in love with him. 86 speed, 85 acceleration, perfect zone coverage at an 87, perfect tackler. Would I like to see the change of direction be a little higher? Absolutely. I think anybody with a brain would like to see that. But I still think with his speed, with his acceleration, with his zone coverage, he does something not many other linebackers, outside linebackers do. I'm putting him at A tier. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree, but for 64,000 coins, he's one of the best cards in the entire game. Roquan Smith, when he came out, was an absolute beast. The problem with that is he came out at this stage a long time ago. 85 speed, 86 acceleration, solid change of direction, good block shed, decent enough in zone coverage. Card still isn't bad. The card can still somewhat play. His time has just came and went. It's that simple in College Football 25 Ultimate Team. He's fine. I still put him at C tier, but not a card I would pick up. Sonny Styles up next, a newer card that did get released, last week, I do believe, in the stories of the week. 85 speed, 89 acceleration, solid change of direction, solid power move, solid hit power, decent enough in zone coverage at 6'4". The more I look at this Sonny Styles card, guys, the more I really like him. Is he better than Colin Oliver? I think no. But with that being said, some people think maybe because of the change of direction that he could possibly be better. I think Sonny Styles is deserving of at least upwards of B tier. I still would prefer Colin Oliver though. Kyle Thornton, you know what you're getting out of the card. And I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. You know what you're getting. He comes with that 85 speed, solid tackler, solid change of direction, solid in zone coverage. His block shed at a 70 is crazy, and he's not going to get after the quarterback. He is a pass coverage outside linebacker, only 6'1" as well. The more I look at Thornton, the more I like Grubbs just so much more. C tier for Thornton. Whit Weeks up next. When this card came out, another card that I was like, I don't necessarily love you. I feel like we've got a lot of guys that are somewhat similar to you. He's got 85 speed, 82 acceleration, 79 change of direction, as well as decent tackling, decent pursuit, decent zone coverage. I just don't see it with the card. His change of direction is not great. His acceleration is troll. This card is not very good in this game. I'm throwing him a D tier. Whit Weeks is not good. Basente up next. I gotta go A tier, but you have to know what this card is doing on the field. He is your best pass coverage outside of the new guy, outside linebacker we have in the entire game. 89 change of direction, 89 zone coverage. He is not going to get after the quarterback though. And so that's one of the reasons I kind of maybe prefer Colin Oliver is he's going to get after the quarterback better than Basente. But this card is a beast, man. Great pursuit, great tackler, block sheds troll, but great in coverage. So if you're playing coverage with your outside linebacker, no better guy than Basente in College Football Ultimate Team. DJ Wesolak up next. I like this card quite a bit. It just comes down to this card has been in the game for quite some time. 86 speed, 85 acceleration, change of direction is not great. Good block shed, gonna get after the quarterback. Problem with him is he's not gonna play any sort of coverage. And because of that, I'm gonna put him at B tier. I like complete outside linebackers, and honestly at this stage, I don't know if I like a guy that can get after the quarterback, play the runner, or a guy that can drop into coverage. So Wesolak, I'm going to throw you at B tier. Next up, Peyton Wilson. I've used this card quite a bit. He's C tier. He's a fine middle linebacker. I got a BND version of the card, so I do end up using this card more than a lot of people, but he's just fine on the field. Zaven Collins up last. Not the biggest fan of Zaven Collins. I got to find somebody to go at F tier. Is it going to be Zaven Collins? I doubt it because his change of direction and zone coverage is solid. Whit Weeks, sorry, you're moving down. Even Zaven Collins compared to Whit Weeks walks circles, or Zaven Collins walks circles around Whit Weeks. So that's where I'm at with my linebackers right now. Do think Clay Matthews is by far and away your best in the game. A tier, we got some absolute dogs, some absolute studs. For me, Colin Oliver is just here because I love him. B tier is still fine. Card you can run. One thing I would say at the linebacker position is find cards that fit your scheme. If your outside linebackers don't play a lot of coverage, why are you running linebackers, that that are in, good at coverage. You run outside linebackers that get after the quarterback, you should not run pass coverage outside linebackers. So just know what your scheme is, know what linebackers fit that specific scheme. That's going to wrap it up for our video today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, guys. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.